Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and wondered, what part of me is truly mine? The way you eat, the way you bathe, the way you live with others, these things you call normal. What if they were borrowed, whispered into your life thousands of years ago by people you've never met, people whose faces you will never see? Most of us go about our days feeling like we're building life from scratch. We think our habits, our little rituals, our personal choices, but beneath them lies something older, almost ghostly, echoes of civilizations long gone. And one of the quietest, most haunting of these voices comes from a place buried under layers of dust and silence, the Indus Valley Civilization. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a city older than Athens, older than Rome, rising out of the baked earth of what we now call India and Pakistan. Streets laid out in perfect grids, homes lined with private bathrooms and running drains, wells carved with precision, and people, men, women, children, walking, bartering, laughing. But unlike the Egyptians with their grand pyramids, or the Mesopotamians with their tablets of law, the Indus people left behind no Rosetta Stone, no king lists, no epic poetry, just fragments, broken seals, clay figurines, drains, beads, and walls that hint at an existence we cannot fully touch. Isn't that terrifying? To live, to love, to suffer, to build, and then to be forgotten so thoroughly that your voice becomes unreadable. And yet, isn't that also us? Aren't we all secretly afraid that one day our lives will vanish into silence? The Indus Valley Civilization, flourishing from about 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE, was one of the world's first great urban cultures. We call it a cradle of civilization, but it feels more like a whisper than a cradle, because what we know about it is not shouted in stone monuments, but etched in the subtle details of daily life. Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, Dholavira. These were not random villages, but planned cities, designed with a logic and foresight modern societies still struggle to match. Streets intersected at right angles. Drainage ran beneath houses, carrying waste away from homes. Wells stood in courtyards, offering water to families without the need to walk for miles. Think about that for a second. Thousands of years ago, while other civilizations built giant tombs for kings, the Indus people invested in toilets, private baths, systems that cared for the living, not just monuments to the dead. Doesn't that challenge the way we measure greatness? Perhaps true greatness is not in pyramids or in empires, but in how gently we make life livable for one another. Picture it. A morning in Mohenjo-Daro. The air smells of baked clay and damp earth. A woman, draped in dyed cotton, grinds wheat into flour while her children play with terracotta toys. Merchants lay out beads of carnelian and lapis lazuli, gleaming under the sun. Farmers drive carts pulled by humped cattle, wheels creaking as they head toward the market. No towering ziggurats, no sprawling palaces. Instead, there is balance, equality. Archaeologists have not found evidence of kings or vast armies. No single person seems to have claimed godlike power. This unsettles us, doesn't it? We expect hierarchy. We assume history must be filled with conquerors, with rulers, with the loudest voices. But the Indus Valley reminds us, maybe life can flourish without one man's throne dominating everyone else's lives. Maybe quiet order is more lasting than loud conquest. And then, there are the seals. Small, carved tablets with intricate animals, symbols, and an undeciphered script. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They stare back at us from museums and excavation sites as though daring us to listen. But we can't. The language of the Indus has not been cracked. No bilingual text, no Rosetta Stone to guide us. Each symbol feels like a whisper from the dark, close enough to sense, but too faint to grasp. Isn't that how memory works? We forget the exact words people once spoke, yet their essence lingers like shadows in our lives. The Indus people may not speak to us directly, but their silence teaches us something powerful, that we are temporary interpreters of a story much bigger than ourselves. And then, slowly, the silence grew louder. Around 1900 BCE, the cities began to empty. Some say climate change shifted the rivers. Others suggest floods or droughts or even changing trade routes. There is no clear answer. But think about it. An entire civilization, vanishing without war, without fire, without a bang. Just a quiet fading like a candle burning out. Isn't that our greatest fear? Not dying violently, but being forgotten quietly. To fade away, not with a scream, but with a sigh. And yet, the Indus didn't truly disappear. Their blood flows in millions who live today. Their ideas, the importance of water, cleanliness, balance, still shape how entire regions think. Even the way you start your morning, brushing your teeth, bathing, preparing food, it might carry a thread back to them. They live in you. So what do we take from this civilization of silence? Maybe it's this. The Indus Valley reminds us that greatness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it flows in a drain that keeps a family healthy, or a bead strung carefully on a necklace, or a child's clay toy that makes them smile. And it forces us to ask, what traces are we leaving behind? Not our selfies, not our hashtags, not our skyscrapers. Those may crumble faster than we think. But the small things, the ways we treat one another, the systems we build for fairness, the rituals we pass to our children, maybe those are the things that echo the longest. The Indus Valley Civilization may feel distant, but it's closer than you imagine. Every time you bathe, every time you drink clean water, every time you step into a city designed with order, you are walking in their footsteps. So the question isn't just, what happened to them? The question is, what will happen to us? When our time comes to fade, will we leave behind ruins that speak of kings and conquests? Or will we, like the Indus, whisper something deeper? Something about how we cared for each other, how we valued life, how we built systems not for power, but for people. History is not just about the past, it's a mirror. And right now, the Indus Valley Civilization is holding that mirror up to you. The reflection you see, what will you do with it? If this story moved you, stay with me. Because the forgotten voices of history are not gone. They're waiting inside us to be heard again.